Okay, welcome friends to our program today. And we also are very blessed to have such a beautiful day today. But you're in for one of the most exciting and most motivating programs that we've had in the past. One of the things that I would like to share with you is that this is sponsored by Citizens for Racial Amity Now. And you know, the word amity has been a little difficult for many people who haven't heard it much, but all it means is friendship, meaningful friendship where we reach out across multiracial and multicultural barriers and try to make good friends. So this is very important in any advances that we've made. But what our program today is going to be about many people that are even within our life and in our daily life and everything that we really don't hear much about. And they are those that motivate us and inspire us to do the best we can. And tonight our program is going to be about the women, Afro-American women that have we call them heroines, for some people, and also they are making history, her story, and it's a little twist to the word, but that it's time for us to begin to realize that women have made such an important contribution to history. But one of the things I would like to say also is that many times when we try to share some very important moving ideas and issues, many times it's much better to come across if we tell them a little story. So I'm going to tell you a little story which will probably be about what we're all about. I heard a story about this little girl, African girl. She's about 8 years old, 6, 7. And she was sitting out on the grass, just gazing around and daydreaming. And all of a sudden she saw a caterpillar. And from that caterpillar, a beautiful butterfly appeared. And the caterpillar disappeared. And she went to the nearest tree. And she got some bark off of it. And what she did was she took a little twig. She was very poor, didn't have pencils. And she wrote on that bark, "Dear God, help me to find the greatness in me." And that's what many of these heroines, they help us to find that gift that we've all been given, the talents that everyone has within, to find that greatness within us. And to never let anyone push us, never let anyone discourage us from reaching for the stars and to fulfill our dreams. And so that's what we really are trying to put across today, is to find that greatness in yourselves, that you contribute to the betterment of the world, and also finding who we are. I think that anything else, I don't have to say much more about the program. But we are going to be very fortunate that we have what's happening? We're very fortunate today because we have two facilitators, Professor Barbara Love and Ash Hartwell, that have been very big inspirations and motivators in our community and many out through the world. If you get to know them, you will find that out. But this is what we'd like to do, and so I will now ask would Chris, if she could open up with a prayer.
Marita.
O thou kind Lord, O thou who art generous and merciful, we are the servants of thy threshold, and are gathered beneath the sheltering shadow of thy divine unity. The sun of thy mercy is shining upon all, and the clouds of thy bounty shower upon all. Thy gifts encompass all. Thy loving providence sustains all. Thy protection overshadows all, and the glances of thy favor are cast upon all. O Lord, grant thine infinite bestowals, and let the light of thy guidance shine. Illumine the hearts, gladden the eyes with abiding joy. Confer a new spirit upon all people, and bestow upon them eternal life. Unlock the gates of true understanding, and let the light of faith shine resplendent. Gather all the people beneath the shadow of thy bounty, and cause them to unite in harmony, so that they may become as the rays of one sun, as the waves of one ocean, and as the fruit of one tree. May they drink from the same fountain. May they be refreshed by the same breeze. May they receive illumination from the same source of light. Thou art the giver, the merciful, the omnipotent.
At this moment, I'd like to invite Marita up to give a poem.
Hello. My name's Marita, and so the poem I'm going to do for you guys today is one I wrote specifically years ago in honor of Black History Month. The working title is Lift Every Voice. And now, for our feature presentation, brought to you by Malcolm King, Tubman Parks, Greenboro Angelo, and the list goes on and on, reminding us to lift every voice and to lift every voice and remember the pain and suffering, the hardships which carried soft bodies over a middle passage, bodies tossing themselves over, preferring to go home, back to Africa, and be. Well, too many bodies made it to the shore, too many babies were born without limbs, without dreams, handicapped from the beginning, not even knowing their end. Yet they still remembered to lift every voice and to lift every voice, and the North Star heard them and carried them on railroads. No railings to hold onto, only souls to belong to. Spiritually singing their way to what they thought was meant to be, but what really was free doom. But we will not stop singing till earth and heaven ring. We sing because we are happy. We sing because we are free from slavery. But racism still resides in the hearts of some. They hold the key to our chains. They hold that ever-cracking whip over our heads. Don't they understand that we have put sweat and blood into building bridges over troubled waters so we all may cross? And let our differences be the reason for our friendships. We are running in circles, unable to realize the disease which paralyzes our existence. A petrified forest, our roots run so deep, holding on to the earth, afraid to let go and breathe. And we must remember to let our rejoicings rise high as the glistening skies. Let it resound high as the rolling seas. And we must remember to lift all our voices and sing.
Dash Hartwell and Barbara Love.
I am Barbara Love.
And I'm Ash Hartwell.
And we are delighted to share the afternoon with you. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for your interest in Black history. Thank you for putting your time, your energy, and your bodies in the place where we can move the notion and the celebration of Black history forward. Thank you so much for that poem. It was fabulous and beautiful. One more time.
Yeah, when the Citizens for Race Amity was thinking about how we wanted to celebrate Black History Month this year, we were sitting around and thinking, his story? His story? His story? What happened to her? And we realized how much of history is written by the victors, written by the powerful, and forgets the extreme courage and resilience, character of those whose voices we often don't hear. And this we thought we wanted to celebrate by looking at those heroines today. We thought about the word sheroes. Not heroes, but sheroes. The sheroes who have actually become women who have overcome terrific odds and really made themselves our contemporary heroes, who are going to be writing our history, whatever that history may be as we go forward. So we want to introduce our three speakers, and they will each tell us a little bit about Mae Jemison and Alex Kennedy, Dr. Kennedy, and Michelle Obama. And so that's... yeah. So it's Marita. I just wanted to introduce you. Okay. So it's and my. I'm sorry. My brain leaks sometimes. Does it leak for you sometimes? Yeah. You get in that moment and you say, I know. I know Amber so well. She's my dear friend, and I wanted to introduce Amber and Sharon, and they are each going to give us a little bio and some of the words of these heroines. And so I will introduce them. Barbara, would you want to say anything further?
Actually, before our speakers share more with you about the heroines, the sheroes, that have been selected for our attention today, I'd like to have you spend one more moment thinking about Black history for you. Many of us have had the opportunity to reflect on one, why Black History Month? Why a month? Why isn't Black history adequately and sufficiently included in all of the curriculums of all of the schools? Why isn't Black history a requirement? Why do our state legislatures who order standards not include Black history as a requirement for people to graduate from school? There's all sorts of questions that you have and many of us have had a chance to contemplate. But moving beyond those questions, what I'd like you to do at the moment is to turn to the person sitting next to you, to the right or to the left. Introduce yourself. This is brought to you by Race Amity, right? Citizens for Racial Amity. That means getting to know each other. That means developing relationships. That means developing connections and friendships. So step one, turn to the person sitting next to you, and then I'm going to give you the next set of directions. What comes into your mind when you hear Black history? And you get 1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, I already said it. Oh, my coach.
And you may begin.
Anything else? Despite the hardships, everything's
Part of that exercise is just about getting us thinking that Black history is for everyone. You know that because you are here. That's why you're here, because you know that Black history is for everyone. It enriches all of us. It enriches our minds, it enriches our lives, and it enriches our communities to know something about it.
All right, so the first woman in history we're going to read about, I'm going to tell you guys about, her name is Mae Jemison. So Mae Jemison went into orbit aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992 and became the first African American woman in space. She's also a trained medical doctor, serves as a medical officer in the Peace Corps, and currently runs Biosentient Corp, a medical technology company. Jemison faced many...
Now we need him back up. Sorry.
Jemison faced many roadblocks to her dreams of pursuing science, as you can imagine. Once when she was younger, and she told her teacher that she wanted to become a scientist, and her teacher corrected her and said, "Did you mean to say a nurse?" Yep. She later founded the Earth We Share, an international science camp that encourages science literacy for all. A high school graduate at the age of 16, she attended Stanford University on a scholarship, graduating with a BS degree in chemical engineering and having fulfilled the requirements for an AB in African and Afro-American studies. After graduating from medical school at Cornell, Jemison joined the Peace Corps, serving as its area medical officer from 1983 to 1985 in West African countries of Sierra Leone and Liberia. After serving in NASA from 1997 to 1993, Jemison founded the Jemison Group, which developed Alafia, a satellite-based telecommunications systems intended to improve healthcare delivery in developing nations. She also was professor in the Environmental Studies program at Dartmouth College, where she directed the Jemison Institute for Advancing Technology in Developing Countries. Mae Jemison went into orbit aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992 and became the first African-American woman in space. She is also a trained medical doctor, serves as a medical officer in the Peace Corps, and currently runs Biosentient Corp, a medical technology company. Jemison faced many roadblocks to her dreams of pursuing science. Once, when Jemison said she wanted to be a scientist, one of her teachers corrected her and asked if she really just meant she wanted to be a nurse. She later founded the Earth We Share, an international science camp that encourages science literacy for all. A high school graduate at the age of 16, she attended Stanford University on a scholarship, graduating with a BS degree in chemical engineering and having fulfilled the requirements for an AB in African American and Afro-American studies. After graduating from medical school at Cornell, Jemison joined the Peace Corps, serving as its area medical officer from 1983 to 1985 in Sierra Leone and Liberia. After serving in NASA from 1987 to 1993, Jemison founded the Jemison Group, which developed Alafia, which is a satellite-based telecommunication systems intended to improve healthcare delivery in developing nations. She also was a professor in the Environmental Studies program at Dartmouth College, where she directed the Jemison Institute for Advancing Technology in Developing Countries. And she was also in an episode of Star Trek.
A little music for a bit?
Yeah.
Yes.
A minute?
Thank you, Marita.
Thank you.
Okay, now can we bring up Amber?
Amber Casey.
Amber, Casey. Big round of applause. All right. Go. You want to sit down? You want to sit down? Okay.
That's okay.
You sure?
I'll deal. Okay. Dr. Alexa Kennedy. She was born in Lansing, Michigan on November 7th, 1950 to a dentist father and a mother who worked in education. Her parents taught Kennedy the importance of hard work and learning, which helped her to graduate from high school with honors. Dr. Kennedy initially wanted to be an internist, but her plans changed when she became intrigued by neurosurgery. It was a career path that some advisors discouraged her from pursuing, and she encountered difficulties in obtaining an internship. But Kennedy refused to give up and was eventually accepted as a surgical intern at Yale New Haven Hospital. She went there after graduating cum laude from medical school in 1975. Dr. Kennedy chose to specialize as a pediatric neurosurgeon, training at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. She then worked in pediatric neurosurgery at the Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit before moving to the Children's Hospital of Michigan. In 1984, Dr. Kennedy was certified by the American Board of Neurological Surgery, another first for a female African American. 3 years later, she became Director of Neurosurgery at the Children's Hospital. Under her guidance, the department was soon viewed as one of the best in the country. Dr. Kennedy was inducted into the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame in 1989 and received the American Medical Women's Association President's Award in 1993. In addition to these honors and a career filled with other accomplishments, Dr. Kennedy stands out as an example for those who face a daunting career path.
All right, thank you. Chair from Italy. Introduce Sean Daughtry.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to give you a little bio of Michelle Obama and a few quotes. Michelle Obama, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Michelle Obama was the 44th First Lady of the United States, the wife of President Obama. As First Lady, she focused her attention on the current social issues, such as poverty, healthy living, and education. Prior to her role as First Lady, she was a lawyer in Chicago, the city administrator, and a community outreach worker. She attended Princeton University, graduated cum laude in 1985, and went on to earn her degree from Harvard in law in 1988. Following her graduation from Harvard, she worked at a Chicago law firm where she met her first husband, President Barack Obama, I call him Obama. And he's still her husband. I'm going to read some statements from her. When someone is cruel and acts like a bully, you don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high. We learned about gratitude and humility, and so many had hands in our success. From the teachers who inspired us, from the janitors who kept our schools clean, and so we were taught to value everyone's contribution and treat everyone with respect. We worked hard and done well, and we walked through the doorway of opportunity. You do not slam it shut behind you. You reach back, and you give other folks the same chances that help you succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. A little bit of music? Yeah.
Have a little more. A little more music? A little more. That sweet sax.
All right.
Yeah, you've heard these stories of these just amazing women. I think sometimes the stories we've just heard, they just sounded like they went right into space, these women. And one of the things...
Well, one of them did.
Yeah, and some of them did. At least one of them did. But one of the things as you go deep into their lives and what they experienced is these women faced a lot of challenges as African American women. They had parents that supported them, but they had a society that didn't. And every one of them was told, this isn't where you should go. You can't do this. You can't be this. And they did. They somehow found within them the strength and the fortitude to overcome those odds. And I think that's one of the lessons about what a real heroine is, what a real... and we want to take that inspiration forward. And think about how in these times when, how to put it, our society is having a little trouble. Our country and the world is having a little trouble getting to the point where we recognize the oneness of humankind and the need that all of us work together and be together. This is the message from Cran. This is what race amity really means. And we think these women just really demonstrate that courage and that wherewithal to move ahead. So we want to turn this back to you now for your reflection on some of what these women have said, and I'm going to turn it to you, Barbara. I hope that everybody has the quotations that were taken from some of the things that these women said. And from that, we're going to carry on with the next stage of our reflection and dialogue. So,
Okay,
Barbara?
who needs a copy of the quote? Does everybody have a copy?
Back here?
Becky?
Do we have some more copies? Let's get copies into their hands. Because we want you to reflect on the quotes from these women. I don't know how familiar you already are with these women. For instance, I'm guessing everybody knows Michelle Obama. Raise your hand. Okay. Before this time, how many of you knew Dr. Kennedy? Okay, so she is someone who is new to you, a neurosurgeon. How many of you knew Mae Jemison? Okay, so some did and some did not. So you get to reflect on somebody who is completely familiar to all of us, and you get to reflect on some who are new to you. So you're expanding your purview of Black history. And as Ash said, these are women whose march into history was not made smooth or easy, but who did persist, and who nevertheless, because of their persistence, their perseverance, their brilliance, and their intentions, occupies a place in history, and we get to let them occupy a place in our minds and in our hearts. Many things that we can do to move it forward, and the piece that I leave with you is once again about clarifying your vision of the world that you want. I'm always happy to loan you mine. If you haven't gotten around to clarifying yours. A world that works well for everyone. A world characterized by equity and fairness and justice. But you get to think about the world that you want. And then you get to think about, on a day-to-day basis, event-to-event basis, does this thing that I'm planning to do move me toward that world or not? And you get to continue to think of ways that you can help move the world toward your vision. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating in the exercise. And now we will go to a clip from Hidden Figures.
To introduce this clip, basically, if you haven't seen the movie is about the three heroines, three Black heroines that were able to make the first orbit of the Earth that was done by John Glenn possible.
These women were hidden figures. How many people knew of these women before this movie came out? But again, the theme here is look that the genius and the persistence and the courage that these women had against terrific odds. You've got to see this movie if you haven't, because the story is how much they had to overcome to become the heroines that they were. We have another hero today, somebody for 93 years who has been an activist and a champion of human rights, the oneness of humankind. Ray Elliott. This is Ray.
Stand up, Ray. Yeah. Say something. Happy birthday, Ray.
You're our hero today, too, Ray.
This is a very special event for me to be celebrating my birthday. You know, there was an old saying that I heard about, and it said that the good Lord gave us the gift of memory so we could pick roses in the winter time of our lives. And this is one of the roses. I thank you for giving me.
And if you could hold up that cake, Amber.
Yeah. Check it out in the back.
Don't hold it up too far. But this is a dedication cake to you, Ray, for the 93 years of your life and your service and your terrific activism and commitment. Thank you so much.
I'd like to just read it before we cut it up. It says, celebrating 93 years